Welcome everyone. Today we will discuss in this class the model of Lac-Operon model, what actually is Lac-Operon. And here in the previous classes we have discussed how genes will be regulated. Here for regulation of gene there is a mechanism, operon mechanism, which helps in the regulation of genes. So in this operon, what are the different parts of operon? What are the different parts of operon? In this operon, we have a promoter. Operon is nothing but a segment of DNA in which we have a promoter, we have structural genes, and we have operator along with repressors. So here operons are primarily seen in prokaryotic organisms. In prokaryotic organisms, we see operons, different operons are there. There is not just only one operon in this prokaryotes. For carrying out different functions, prokaryotes have many operons, not just one operon. For carrying each function, one different operon is there. For one function, one operon. For another function, another operon is there. Okay. So in prokaryotes, operons are present, and there are many operons in prokaryotes. And each operon, I said you, many functions in prokaryotic organisms, for different functions, different operons is there. And each operon has its promoter. Each operon has its promoter, each operon has its own operator and repressor. Repressor are nothing but regulatory proteins. So each operon has its specific promoter. Each operon has its specific promoter and operator and repressor. So if an operon is there, it will have promoter, operator as well as repressor. So the same promoter cannot be used in another operon. So each operon will have their own set of promoter, operator and repressors. Okay. So coming to this, what are repressors? I said you, each operon has specific promoter, operator and repressor. So repressor are nothing but regulatory proteins. I have explained you what is promoter. A place on the DNA, a site on the DNA where transcription is initiated. Promoter is nothing but a site or the region on DNA where transcription is initiated. Okay. Operator is always adjacent to the promoter. It will allow or not allow accessibility to the promoter. Okay. So basically operator is the one who is regulating this, whether to give this accessibility to RNA polymerase so that it gets bind on the promoter. So here if this is the DNA sequence, promoter will be there. Adjacent to the promoter we have this operator, and here this is the structural gene. So here in each operon model we have, so this is one operon, this is another operon. So here for each operon there will be one promoter, one operator and one repressor. Repressors are nothing but regulatory proteins. They bind with the promoters. This is the promoter, this is the operator and this is the repressor, and this is the structural gene. So each operon will have its set of structural genes, it will have its promoter, it will have its operator and it will have its repressor. So these are the components of a operon. Operon consists of a promoter, an operator, a repressor and structural genes. So these are the different components of an operon. Similarly in Lac-Operon. Now I said you many operons are there for carrying out different functions. We won't be studying about all the operons, we will be studying about one, which is the Lac-Operon. We will study the Lac-Operon. Before we study this Lac-Operon, let us move to this repressor. I said you repressor are nothing but regulatory proteins, because control of gene expression, regulation of gene expression is not only done by operator. Along with this operator, this repressor or the regulatory proteins will also help in operator, will also be helping the operator. So, operator and repressor, they both together control the expression of gene. Operator and repressor together control the expressions of the genes. Okay. Now, here is repressor is nothing but regulatory proteins. These regulatory proteins are of two types. Regulatory proteins are of two types. First is activators. First type of regulatory proteins is activators, which will be activating the process of protein synthesis. Activators are nothing but the proteins which will be helping in the activation or the synthesis of the proteins, or the synthesis of the proteins. And the next one is repressor or inhibitors. We can take activators and inhibitors. Repressors or regulatory proteins are of two types. One is activator, another is inhibitor. Activator and inhibitor. Activator means which will be helping in formation of protein synthesis. This will be helping in turning on of gene expression, turning on of the switch so that genes can be expressed, and these proteins will be inhibiting. This will be stopping the expression of the genes. This will be stopping the production of proteins. This will be helping in the production of proteins. So, regulatory proteins are of two types, activators and inhibitors. So, if these regulatory proteins will be present in prokaryotes, regulatory proteins will be present. Two types of regulatory proteins will be present, activators and inhibitors. Activators will be helping in switching on of the operon model, which will be helping in the synthesis of the proteins. Okay. And these inhibitors will not be allowing the DNA to be transcribed into RNA. They will not help in the, they will not allow the protein to synthesize. So, it will keep the switch off. They will keep the switch off. They will not allow the proteins to be synthesized. These will keep the switch on. They will help in the synthesis of proteins. By keeping the switch on, they will be helping in the synthesis of proteins, and by keeping the switch off, they will be inhibiting the process of protein synthesis. Okay. So, now let us see. If I draw this operon model, so this operon consists of, this is a segment of DNA. On this DNA, operon consists of a promoter. Okay. Then we have this operator. Okay. On this operator, we have a repressor, that is regulatory proteins. It can be inhibitors or it can be activators. These repressors can be inhibitors or activators. If these are activator, the protein synthesis will follow, that is DNA will transcribe to RNA, RNA will help in the synthesis of proteins. But if they are inhibitors, they will not allow this DNA to transcribe into RNA. Then we have this structural gene. So, these are the parts of operon: promoter, promoter, operator, this repressor and this structural gene. These are the parts of operon. Now, let us see what is lac operon. In lac operon also, we will have this promoter, we will have this operator, we will have the structural gene, and we will also have the repressor. Okay. So, lac operon, this is a mechanism, this is the operon which will be seen in prokaryotes. This was the first operon which was discovered in E. coli. Many operons are there, tryptophan operon is there, lac operon is there, many are there, but the first discovered operon is lac operon. The word lac is derived from the word lactose. It is derived from the word lactose. It is lac operon. So, here in this E. E. coli use glucose as the source of energy. E. coli is a prokaryote. Okay. E. coli use glucose as the source of energy. So, glucose will be mixed with the oxygen and the E. coli will get the energy. We all require energy. So, what is that? Food will be mixed with oxygen, then we get the energy. In the similar manner, for the bacteria to obtain energy, bacteria also needs glucose. That glucose needs to be mixed with oxygen. So, when the glucose is mixed with the oxygen, now the bacteria will get the energy and it will perform all the processes. But in the absence of glucose, if lactose is present, glucose is the simplest form. It is a monosaccharide, it is the simplest form, it cannot be further simplified. So, glucose will give the energy. Our body cells or the prokaryotic cells will use glucose as the source of energy. Okay. But in the absence of glucose, if lactose is present, so the bacteria will be taking lactose in order to get the energy. The first preference will be glucose. Bacteria will be searching for the glucose. If they doesn't find glucose, then the next that is required or the medium will be the lactose. But lactose is a disaccharide. Glucose is a monosaccharide, simplest molecule, but lactose is a disaccharide. It is a disaccharide. That is, it is made up of two monosaccharides. It is made up of two monosaccharides. Two monosaccharides are combining and forming one molecule of lactose, that is glucose and galactose. Glucose is one monosaccharide, galactose is one monosaccharide. So, glucose and galactose, these two combine and form lactose. Bacteria would have preferred this glucose, but glucose is not available. What is available to bacteria now? Lactose is there. So, bacteria will take the lactose, it will break this lactose into galactose and glucose, then with the help of this glucose they will take the energy. If glucose have been available, simple, they would have mixed this glucose with the oxygen and they would have taken the energy. But it is not that simple because glucose is not available. So, first they have to make the glucose available. How they will be making it available? They will take lactose and they that is, they will divide it, they will break it, okay, into glucose and galactose. So, when this lactose is broken into glucose and galactose, so then they will take the glucose and take the energy. But this has to be converted. For the conversion of this lactose to glucose and galactose, it requires enzyme. For the hydrolysis of lactose to glucose and galactose, enzymes are required. Enzymes are required, and we know enzymes are formed from proteins. Enzymes are nothing but proteins. So, if the bacteria wants the energy, then it needs to synthesize enzyme which will hydrolyze the lactose into glucose and galactose. So, if they require enzyme, then that means they will be needing proteins, because proteins will only make the enzymes. If they want proteins now, then transcription should take place. Then when transcription take place, mRNA will be formed. If mRNA is formed now, then mRNA will be translated into proteins. So, for this process, for this hydrolysis of lactose to glucose and galactose, the transcription should be initiated. Transcription should be initiated. Okay. So, now for this, now in this lac operon, we have this promoter, operator, repressor, okay, and the structural gene. So, 3 structural genes are there in this lac operon. So, 3 structural gene 1, see, this is the promoter, this is the operator, and this is the structural gene. So, it is also in this coil manner only. For understanding, I have drawn like this. Okay. So, this is the promoter, operator, structural gene, and here will be the repressor. Here will be the repressor. Okay. So now gene 1 is LAC-Z gene. Three genes are there. LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A. LAC-A is responsible for production of beta galactosidase enzyme. This LAC-Z codes for enzyme beta galactosidase. This beta galactosidase will help in this breaking of lactose into glucose and galactose. Okay. The next gene is gene 2, that is LAC-Y gene. It codes for enzyme permease. This gene helps in the synthesis of enzyme permease. Okay. Permease is the enzyme which is allowing the bacteria to permit the lactose to enter into the body. For example, if this is the bacteria, this is the medium, okay, here lactose is present. Lactose has to enter into the body of this bacteria. Bacteria will not allow this lactose to enter. Bacteria want glucose. Bacteria want glucose. It will not allow the lactose to enter inside it. But bacteria also wants energy. So what it will do? In normal times, it will not allow the lactose to enter into the body. But for the energy, it will allow the lactose to enter by preparing the enzyme permease. If it has to allow this lactose inside, first this bacteria need to produce an enzyme which is called as permease. This permease will permit this membrane of bacteria to allow the lactose inside the body of the bacteria. Okay. So this LAC-Z is a LAC-Y gene codes for permease. So permease enzyme will be formed and this permease will be allowing this lactose to enter inside the body of the bacteria. And the third is LAC-A gene, which is helping in the synthesis of beta galactosidase transacylase enzyme. So these three genes codes for three different enzymes. So one, beta galactosidase, which helps in the hydrolysis of lactose to glucose. Hydrolysis will take place only when this lactose is allowed to enter into the bacteria. When lactose enter into the bacteria, then this lactose will be hydrolyzed into glucose and galactose. That will be done by this enzyme. This breaking of glucose to lactose to glucose and galactose will be done by this enzyme. But first it has to enter inside this body. Glucose has to be entered inside, then only it will be broken down or fermented. So to allow this lactose, this permease enzyme is there which codes for, that is this LAC-Y gene, it codes for permease. So what happens when bacteria does not have the glucose? When bacteria does not have the glucose, so what happens is, so permease will be, because of this this repressor, permease genes will be turned on and off. It is not that they will be continuously off. For some brief time genes will be turned on, this enzyme will be formed. Genes will be turned on, operator will allow this promoter for RNA polymerase to bind. This operator and this repressor, because they need to allow the lactose inside it. So they will allow, this operator will allow this promoter to bind with the RNA polymerase. Okay. So when it binds with this RNA polymerase, this transcription of this structural gene will take place and mRNA will be formed. mRNA will be formed, which will be helping in the synthesis of enzyme permease. Okay. This permease will allow this lactose to enter inside the body. Okay. And so as soon as lactose enters inside it, lactose enters inside the body of the bacteria, this lactose goes and attaches itself to the repressor. Attaches itself to the repressor. So here in this repressor, now we have this repressors, I said, now this is the repressor. So these repressors are of two types, activators and inhibitors. In case of this lacoperon, we have inhibitors. The repressor is inhibitor. Okay, the repressor is inhibitor. It is inhibiting the gene. It is inhibiting the production of protein, which will be helping in the synthesis of this enzymes, because it does not need enzyme. It will be having glucose. When glucose is available, there is no need to produce all these enzymes. So it will be turned off. I is the inhibitor. It will be stopping the production of these enzymes. Okay, but now it has to produce this because lactose is available, glucose is not available. So this repressor will allow this transcription to be followed. How it will allow? This glucose, the lactose, when it enters, now it goes and attaches itself to this repressor. So because of this repressor, this inhibitor will be removed, that is this repressor, this lactose will be attached. See here, one of the lactose molecule binds itself to the repressor on the operator. As soon as the lactose enters inside the body of this bacteria, it will go and one of the molecule of lactose will go and attach itself to the repressor. So now it will act as the inducer. So it will induce this structure, the transcription process. As soon as this is attached, this lactose is attached to this repressor. The repressor allows the formation of the mRNA. So when mRNA is synthesized, here this beta galactosidase will synthesize, which will be helping in the dissociation of lactose into glucose and galactose, or fermentation of lactose into glucose and galactose, and when it gets the glucose, it will get the energy. It will get the energy. So first here what it will be there? Inhibitor will be there. But as soon as the lactose enters inside it, this one of the molecule of lactose goes and attaches itself to the repressor, and repressor will become, here repressor will be activated, and it will be activating this process. It will help in the formation of mRNA. But as of now, when the genes are turned on, lacoperon is a negative regulation. That is, it will not allow the synthesis of proteins, which will be helping in the fermentation of lactose to glucose and galactose in the normal conditions. In the normal conditions, lacoperon is turned off. Okay, but when this glucose is not available, the lacoperon turns on. So it is a negative regulation. Lacoperon is negative regulation, that is, it is turned off when it is not required. Only this lacoperon will be turned on when lactose is needed and glucose is not available. So this was about lacoperon. By this we have finished our lesson, the molecular basis of inheritance. It was a very big lesson and we have many important questions from this lesson. Hope you all have understood. In the next class, we will move on to another lesson. We will take up respiration. We will take up the 4th chapter, that is respiration, and from that respiration lesson, one long answer will be coming. So next class will be of respiration.